Quick disclaimer, guys. This review kind of thing is going to be a little low budget. My video software is kind of a pain to use, so I don't want to deal with it. I'm too tired to deal with it. So let's get started. The episode starts off with Twilight looking at her books in her library when Pinkie Pie, just out of nowhere, just appears out of the bookshelf. I'm pretty sure everyone would be startled by this. Twilight explains that she was doing genealogy stuff, and after a quick explanation as to what that is, Pinkie just grabs one of the scrolls, unrolls it, just to look at the findings, and is shocked to find out that she's possibly Applejack's cousin, thus setting the plot for this episode. This is a completely natural reaction to one of your friends knocking on your door and addressing you as cousin, and surprise hugging you. After the intro and whatever, we cut to the Apple family barn, where they're all excited about having a new family member. However, Applejack is a little confused because she can't find where it says that Pinkie is in fact related. So Pinkie takes the scroll and unrolls. It's a very, a long scroll for comedic effect. And points up to the very bottom of it. Now, just when every fanfic writer is about to have a heart attack, or jump for joy, Applejack points out that part of the writing is smudged and is hard to read. So she tells the family that she needs to know for sure, and so everyone shouldn't get too excited or too attached before they know anything else. Granny Smith comes up with the idea to visit an old cousin of hers whose house is apparently a museum of the Apple family. And of course, she'd be the one who'd know for sure, which of course means road trip for the whole family and Pinkie. After that commercial break, Applejack explains to her family that they need to be on their best behavior and to show how great of a family they are, because she's the element of honesty. Pinkie returns with her packed things and throws them into the wagon. Applejack is worried that Big Mac may have packed too much. He probably packed too light. The trip begins with Big Mac pulling the wagon and leads us to our song. It's not bad. However, when the song ends, the wagon collapses. Yeah, he packed too much. Just as Applejack is getting on to Big Mac for packing too much, Pinkie appears. Applejack quickly lies and says she's not blaming him or anything. The face of honesty, ladies and gentlemen. As the family struggles to figure out what to do, Pinkie suggests, in an overly dramatic fashion of course, to have the family river trip, pointing to the river that's near them. Applejack of course points out that they don't have a raft. Granny Smith recalls that back in the day they used the sap of a certain particular tree to glue things together, and suggests making a raft out of the remains of the wagon. By the way, this squirrel being stuck to the tree like this, it's a bit morbid when you think about it, because it doesn't look like he's getting out of there anytime soon. They construct the raft, and just as they're about to head off, Pinkie pulls out of camera, out of nowhere, and snaps a picture. Get used to this, she does this quite a lot along the raft trip. As they head off, Applejack asks for a map. Apple Bloom gets it, and in the middle of doing a reference to the fandom, she drops it in the water, which is then picked up by a fish, which is then eaten by an eagle. Okay, it doesn't show the eagle eating the fish, but you know what happened. Applejack gets stern with Apple Bloom, telling that the little song and dance wasn't necessary. Of course, talking through her teeth, forcing a smile. As they go along, a three-way split in the river comes up. Without a map, Applejack is a little understandably nervous, but Granny Smith assures them that she knows the right way, taking the southeast route because the other way leads to a scary cave. However, it turns out they went the wrong way and they go through the cave. We only see the outside of the cave, hearing only the pony scream in terror. Contrast Pinkie's shout of excitement and picture-taking, as seen here, completely unaffected. Applejack confronts Granny Smith about who should be in charge of the wheel, which leads to a passive-aggressive argument and causes the whole family, except Pink, to fight over the wheel, causing it to break and fall into the water around a duck's neck, which is then eaten by an eagle. Yup. Just as the other members of the family are ganging up on Applejack, giving her mean looks, Pinkie mentions how great it will be to add the page in her scrapbook where they fall off the waterfall, which of course alerts everyone. As they fall, Pinkie takes a few photos, including this infamous one. The raft breaks upon land after the waterfall, of course, and it cuts to the Apple family dragging what's left. They come up upon the cousin's cottage where they find a note on the door explaining that she's gone out for errands. Pinkie takes the time to run off to find more paper for her scrapbook. While she's gone, the apples apologize to each other and feel bad thinking they let Pinky down and plan to tell her that she doesn't have to be an apple if she doesn't want to because of their bad behavior. However, Pinky overheard and told them that she thinks they're the best family because they stuck together and they owned up to each other's mistakes and apologized. By the way, a pony version of Slender Man is in this episode. I don't know how anyone found him. This bastard is only in like 5 frames. You don't know how hard it was for me to find this moment and pause at the right moment to get this shot. It's just frustrating. I can't see him here. The cousin shows up and we find that she is a cat lady and a hoarder. This is how you know you've lost control of your life. She looks through her books and it turns out the page where that information will be on is also smudged. So they'll never know if Pinky's related or not. But Applejack says it doesn't matter. After all she has been through, she might as well be family. The episode ends with the cousin letting them borrow a wagon, and they head home, singing the song from earlier in the episode. Overall, I liked this episode. There was a lot of good jokes. Pinkie Pie was hilarious in this episode. She basically became a Looney Tunes character. And I liked how the Apple family played off each other, and it showed that they weren't perfect. Overall, this was a good episode.